Okay, so you're here because you want to get informed, right? Fast and deep. Well, today we're doing just that with maybe a surprising comparison. We're looking at Cervantes's Don Quixote, 17th century, and the much more recent film, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, it does seem like an odd couple at first glance, doesn't it? A classic novel and this like wild 21st century sci-fi action comedy. But the connection is actually, well, I think it's really compelling. Both of them are really digging into how we make sense of things when, reality itself feels shaky,
Yeah, like
unstable.
coming apart at the seams, maybe.
Exactly. So our mission, if you will, for this deep dive is to explore these common threads, uh, madness, what's real, and maybe most importantly, how we actually create meaning when the world feels, well, kind of fractured.
Right. Let's jump into Don Quixote first. This is a guy, I mean, he's obsessed with these old chivalry books
Totally consumed by them.
to the point where he starts seeing the world completely differently. Windmills? Nope, they're giants. Inns? Castles. It seems like pure delusion.
And you could just leave it there. Yeah, call it madness, full stop. But if you look a bit deeper, especially considering the source material, his so-called madness starts to look like something else, maybe like a creative act. It's framed sometimes as this refusal to accept a mundane, often cruel reality. He's basically making his own story, his own meaning, when maybe the world wasn't giving him one.
That's a really interesting way to put it. Not just escape, but creation. And it kind of echoes, doesn't it, with Evelyn Wine in Everything, Everywhere. She's not seeing imaginary giants, but she is thrown into this, I mean, utterly chaotic multiverse. That's got to mess with your sense of reality.
Oh, absolutely. Her experience is maybe less delusion and more metaphysical disorientation. That's how some describe it. She's suddenly facing infinite versions of herself, infinite paths, different kind of overload. But like Quixote, she's desperately trying to find some coherence in all that absurdity.
So, okay, we've got one guy basically inventing his reality, and another woman swamped by, like, too much reality, infinite realities. It really makes you wonder then, what is madness in these contexts? What does it say about reality itself?
That's the core question, isn't it? Both stories seem to push us towards asking, if reality feels fragmented, if it feels unstable, is what we call madness really a breakdown? Or maybe is it just a necessary way of interpreting things, a strategy almost? Could Quixote's delusions and Evelyn's journey through the multiverse be seen as attempts to find some kind of order, maybe even breakthroughs, not breakdowns?
Breakthroughs, huh? I like that framing. It suggests that meaning isn't just out there waiting to be found. We have to make it.
Exactly. That seems central to both. They strongly suggest meaning is something that's created, not inherent.
So how do they do it? How do Quixote and Evelyn actually build that meaning for themselves?
Well, for Evelyn, the film really highlights things like radical empathy, finding humor in the absolute absurdity of it
Your
all.
googly eyes.
Right. And simple acts of love, kindness, those become her anchors when everything else is just swirling chaos.
Okay. And Quixote?
For Quixote, it's his.
Mm-hmm.
His unwavering commitment to his imagined code, his ideals of chivalry. It doesn't matter if it matches the real world. It's his chosen framework. It's the power of his imagination, and his choice to stick with it.
So the takeaway seems to be meaning is an active process. It's constructed.
Yes. Intention matters. Effort matters. Reality might be flexible, more flexible than we think, perhaps,
Uh-huh.
but making something meaningful out of it, that requires, well, it requires us to do something, whether it's Quixote's imaginative leaps or Evelyn's finding connection amidst the chaos.
Okay, let's bring it full circle then. We looked at Don Quixote, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Centuries apart, totally different style.
Worlds apart, you get that?
Literally. But they both seem to land on this really profound idea. When things feel uncertain, when reality feels unstable, actively creating meaning isn't just like a nice coping mechanism, it's vital, it's essential.
It really is. And it's fascinating how these characters who are seen by others as being mad or out of touch
Mhm.
are the ones who show us this capacity to, well, generate significance when faced with just utter uncertainty.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. As you navigate your own world with all its complexities, its conflicting information, where do you see those moments? Where are the opportunities to actively, shape your own understanding and create your own meaning? What windmills are you choosing to see as giants?